That's hard disclosure.
Who released it first? NASA talked about it in 2016, but Popular Mechanics, what about? They talked about it, but I mean, officially, you know for sure, because January was when I think it was Popular Mechanics. Yeah, Popular Mechanics let out about the EM drive.
That's correct. They published the article in January, but it wasn't officially released. Free energy was not officially recognized by the United States government until November of 2017, and NASA did it. You're talking about...
All right, so NASA will get the credit for that.
Real hard disclosure. Like, it's real. Free energy is real, folks. NASA came out and said so. That's big. That's hard disclosure.
I call it full disclosure.
I'm going to do a PowerPoint and show you all how it works in very simple sixth grader level.
When will you release that?
Can't wait. We're going to get that out in the next month or so. We're going to be doing all this, releasing this information. We got to get through the holidays probably and all that.
Well, it's open access. They have open access, folks, with meaning open source, our Creative Commons license on papers, and that's what you're referring to, right? It's open to the public. They had a peer-reviewed paper, Measurements of Impulsive Thrust from a Closed Radio Frequency Cavity in Vacuum. And that was the Journal of Propulsion and Power. And it was December.
That was actually held back and wasn't really released out to the public until November of 2017. It still got held back. Even though it has that date when they completed it, still was not open to the public until November of 2017. Which was a month or two after Great Britain had awarded Shire the patent, which he filed for in 1999. So he didn't get the patent for, 18 years later? They had him under a Secrecy Act for 18 years, that poor guy.
Wow.
Well, who gets credit? Because Eagle Networks got their hands on the EM drive. We'll have to do some research on... Since you're into the patents, who has the patent on the EM drive?
The Chinese got their hands on it, and then they recreated it, and they built it, and they flew it out in space and tested it in August of 2014. You remember the Chinese went to the moon in December of 2013. December 13, 2013. They went to the moon.
We were already mining. We were already mining for years, all the different, weren't they? I mean, I had information that everything was being mined on the moon because we couldn't get our hands on a lot of the material from space. And even back when Lazar was working, so we only had a very minimal amount. Of course, he was talking about stuff we didn't have yet, right? He just had a minimal amount. My husband worked on that. But he told me that we'll just say the ETs weren't allowing us to have certain information.
You're talking about the mining of the elements that are not on our element chart of elements?
Yeah.
You're talking about the elements that, okay. You got to tell them what they're mining, you know.
Well, but it became on the element charts, about 3 or 4 of them, after
that's right.
After Bob Lazar let us know. I thought it was over with back then, 87 or 89. I think it was 89. And I really did. I thought it was over. I thought, okay, it's all over with. Now we're going to move forward, but it didn't happen.
The new elements. No, they never released the elements. And they're not releasing information on the elements either. But even though a lot of us know that they're there, they're still not releasing the elements. We can't work with them. Private labs can't work with those elements, and we can't get them. And we can't even get articles on them. But that's okay. I don't work with those elements. I work with standard stuff off the shelf. All of my generators are made with standard off the shelf components. That's what I told you.
Let's get into the details real quick. You told us you could tell us, right? You're working on switches with the water to replace oil, something of that nature. Can you refer to any of that? Working with your switch?
You're talking about the OPEC countries, the Arab, the OPEC countries. They the United States went to them and said, guess what, free energy is coming out and oil's going to go away, and we need to We need you guys not to be too upset about that. And then they were like, well, what do you mean not upset about that? I mean, you're not going to buy our oil anymore? And they go, well, no, because we don't need oil anymore because free energy is free. Magnetic, it just comes right. A free energy generator doesn't combust anything. It doesn't burn anything. It doesn't store electricity. It's not a battery. It's energy that comes right from the vacuum right through the vacuum of the fabric of space. It comes right out of the fabric. Magnetic energy is that. We just harvest magnetic energy that comes through the fabric of space, and we amplify the effect. Tesla amplified it 25,000 times. My generators are 24,000 over unity. So I know what Tesla did because I reinvented that. So I know what's possible with magnetic energy. You're talking about with a COP at 24,000, you're talking about the generator the size of a shoebox can power a house for 30 years straight, nonstop. Nothing. It doesn't require any gas or any coal. It doesn't consume anything. It draws energy from the vacuum of space, from the fabric of space. But it's magnetic.
Well, do they want to tell people about how it works? Because darn it, my dog might have to mute me. Hush, Coco. Sorry, that has to be part of my thing. My dog, and we don't have any cats, but occasionally she thinks there is. But anyway, so can you talk about?
We do that. We do that.
Between what I'm going on with the elements for those that are laymen, and if you know what I mean, off of the charts that we're putting on the charts. But in the meantime, since we don't have them on the planet anyway, and we're mining the moon, and there's so many key factors here. But putting it all together, let me put it that way. Your equipment that we're going to possibly use your patents in the future as an independent contractor, and you're being spoken to. Is there a possibility that you can explain how you can take ocean water and clean it up and trade water for oil? Because I told them in the last couple of years that water was going to be the new oil. So can you explain that, how you trade for that?
Yes. So OPEC
said,
go ahead. So oil's going away, and you're asking us to step, not be upset about that. So we need you to give us water because we want to become an agricultural concern, and we also want all of the elements out of seawater. We don't just want water, clean water, in order to grow things on our deserts. Because we got lots of sun and we got lots of oil. Oil is used for fertilizer, by the way. They're going to use their oil for fertilizer because they're no longer going to be used for running engines anymore. We're not going to be combusting oil anymore. So we're going to be using it for fertilizer. They said, we got oil. We're going to use it for fertilizer. We got lots of sun. We don't have water. We need a lot of water. We said, well, how much water do you want? We actually had to ask them how much water they wanted. We said, well, we need at least 200 million acre feet. A million acre feet is a lot of water, folks. That's a real lot of water. Every year, they want 200 to 300 million acre feet a year in water. Desalination means we have to take it out of the ocean and separate it out. They're willing to pay 5 cents a gallon for it, but the fact of the matter is it doesn't require, because all the elements that you take out of the sea are worth a lot more than 5 cents. They don't even need to pay us 5 cents. If we take the elements, we would make a fortune. Because the sea, the ocean has all the elements, all the precious metals and everything. So we don't even need their 5 cents a gallon. They said, wait a second, we want the elements. You get 5 cents a gallon. They go, oh no. So we're in negotiations on that, but no one's been able to fill the contract. So they came to me and said, well, can you fill the contract? I said, well, yeah, I know how to fill the contract, and I had to actually do a whole presentation to one of their chief engineers. And prove it to them, which I did, and so they're convinced that I know how to fill the contract. So it's a very exciting time for me to be able to fill that contract. Basically, we disassociate. We can disassociate water. Westinghouse Plasma was the first one that did that. They don't use it. They don't use the disassociation technology. It's called plasma gasification. They don't use plasma gasification to separate seawater because it doesn't pencil for them. That's okay. It pencils when you do it my way, but that's neither here nor there. Point is that disassociation technology has been around for about 10 years. Westinghouse Plasma has plants all over the world where they disassociate garbage and turn it into 50 megawatt electrical generation plants. So disassociation, gasification, plasma gasification is not new. The way I do it is new. but it only works when you have a free energy generator to run the system. It doesn't pencil unless you have a free energy generator to run the system. So essentially, you disassociate water into a separate element, and so water is H2O, two hydrogen molecules, one oxygen molecule, and you separate it into two gases, hydrogen and oxygen, and no one's been able to put the two back together as fast as you separate. We can separate seawater. Everybody knows how. Lots of people know how to separate seawater very quickly using plasma gasification. There are various people who have patents on that, but they don't know how to put the two gases back together as quickly as they separate. That's always been the trick, the problem, and I solved that problem. And so I'm working on that patent now. Believe it or not, it was actually NASA, Ken. NASA solved the problem. I actually built out for 1965. We solved that problem. So I don't think I can patent it. I can patent modification of it because they didn't do it the way I'm going to do it. But they did suggest in the 1965 article how it could be done better, but they didn't actually do that. So it is patentable, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it for the article.
Well, let me let Ken and Janet ask you a question, and then we're going to go the next hour. So we may do a little minute or two break for a moment for a little commercial or something. But in the meantime,
you want me to come back?
I'm sorry. Well, we got another hour.
Wow.
We got another hour. We have a whole another hour, of course. But let Ken, because there's a lot of names you've mentioned, and that's great. So, Ken, have you got any questions? You used to be a contractor and contracting with NASA and all of that, but I want to get into the next half of the show on global patents and helping people like yourself. So, and tell them how you did your global patent. But, Ken, any questions thus far? And Janet, but let's let Ken and then Janet. We'll go the next half. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dan kind of touched on the fact that NASA had the system working. Now, Apollo 13 had a problem where we had a leakage of the hydrogen, and that's where we had the explosion on Apollo 13, where we nearly lost the crew. Were they? I wasn't working with that piece of hardware, but that was on the command module. So. Did you, Dan? Did you get involved with that at any? Going back?
No, I didn't. I was in law. I practiced law for my career. I started in physics in 1962. I'm sorry. When I was age 62, which was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I started my physics career. Before then, I was in law for 20 years.
And my brother was a aerospace engineer at the Johnston Space Center vacuum chamber, A and B there, but he was also an attorney on our side of the family, so I worked with him a little bit. That gave me a little insight on the legal aspects of things. But mine has been more of let's work with the people who invent it, like yourself, and then I'm the guy that flies it. So I was just curious whether or not the power generators that we create and used on both the command modules and the lunar modules, that gave us the electrical power we needed for the systems, and that's why we just barely got them back on Apollo 13. I didn't know whether maybe going back into history and kind of look at that.
That's a good question, though. Why didn't they use that? Why don't they use what they've got versus because they're committed to the oil?
None of that technology was released even to NASA. None of that. It's only recently being released publicly, or even for NASA to use. That technology wasn't released then. Was still a great military secret. All that technology was a great military secret until November 2017.
Like I say,
NASA's still not using those generators. NASA doesn't have those generators. They're still not using them. They don't even have them yet.
No, but it's still a secret because it's not out public very much. You're doing what you can to get the word out, and that's what we do. But no,
those generators are out. They're just a small COP. COP of 4, COP of 8 is a very small COP. It's not my level, which is 24,000. COP of 24,000 is a very high level solid-state generator. It's very powerful. The only ones that have been released in public, Beacon Power, Gaia Energy, Roche Energy, those are very low COP. They work, they're good, but they're not NASA level. my generator is NASA level. NASA definitely wants what I have, and they want me to develop different things